Hey, welcome to Brighter Rays. This week we are in a study called Put on the New. Colossians 3:12 through 15 is what we are looking at. Today's the introduction. So, Galatians 6. Actually, let's start with 2 Corinthians 5:17. No, let's go back further. Let's start with Colossians 3:8 through 9. You have put off the old self with its practices and put on the new self. This is what we've been talking about. We started that last week and continue on this week. This is one of the several ways that the Apostle Paul likes to describe the transformation of a person from the enemy of God into the child of God. He calls it being a new creation. What you were before you came to Christ passed away, and the new has come, 2 Corinthians 5:17. Rituals and heartless religion don't count for anything, only a new creation, Galatians 6:15. Last time we focused on what Paul says about putting off the old self. He said that in the past tense, you have put off and you have put on. Those are past tense verbs. But he started that paragraph with a command, put to death what is earthly. So even though the old self was put off, its effects are still felt. There are remnants of that old self that must be put to death. Before I bought my house, the previous homeowners had cut down some big trees that hadn't been in the yard. You can go on Google Maps and see the old time. There was a giant tree in front of my house, which hasn't been there since I've been there. But the trees have been dead and they're gone for a long time. But occasionally mushrooms will grow from the decaying roots of those old trees. Where the roots were the thickest, as they decay, they leave sinkholes in the yard. Unfortunately, I had to keep filling them in. The trees are dead and gone, and yet the effects of that tree being there can still be seen. The old self, with its selfish and wicked ways, though it has been put off, still causes problems here and there. Paul says to attack these problems, execute them, don't let them live. You have to be merciless on those. Paul told us that since coming to Jesus, we have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge after the image of its creator. This is a description of progressive sanctification. It's how we continually destroy what remains of the old and grow by continually putting on the practices of the new self. We are saved by grace through faith, but our sanctification does come through sweat and tears. And so, in part 2 of this really 3-part message, we're going to concentrate our minds on what it means to put on the practices of the new self. We know we need to get rid of the old stuff. We know we need to execute, kill them, be, aggressive with them and hunt them down and take them out. So whatever is part of that old self, we need to get rid of. But the new self, we also have to do that at the same time. So killing that sin is only half of it. You have to put on the new. And that's what we're going to be talking about in the next two weeks here. So next time we'll look at verse 12 and talking about how really you have to put on a new name. You have a new name in Christ. So we'll talk about that next time.